Hello everyone and welcome back to the RaceRoom Ranks Championship for one final time this season. Of course, it is Season 2 of the 2023/24 saga. It's myself, Liz McGlade, it's Cameron Roger alongside, and Cam, you join me as we get ready to end it all in West Kingsdown in Kent, somewhere a little bit different for us to go racing after the likes of Suzuka and such.
Absolutely, it's been an awesome season. We've already got a couple of champions in the other series, and we're here for one final time for the Ranks Championship Season 2 of 23. Here's the circuits that we've been to: Suzuka, Interlagos, Silverstone, and now Brands Hatch GP, which I think is going to be a little bit of a tricky one, but certainly a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a very different circuit compared to the other ones. Suzuka, Interlagos, Silverstone, they're all big, wide open expanses. Obviously, Grand Prix circuits. Brands Hatch, whilst it does have Grand Prix in name, it is very, very different. Like I said, it's in West Kingstown in Kent, only 3.9 kilometers all the way around, but it does hold some of, in my opinion, the best corners in British motorsport. So much commitment around it.
Oh, it's fast. It's we don't always in the real world. We don't always race on the full GP track. It's generally the Indy circuit. So when you do get to the GP loop, it is awesome. All of those right-handers going all the way around. It's absolutely something else. So definitely can't wait to see what these cars do with a bit of aero on them.
Remind you of the timetable as well for the. We'll take a look at the car first. That's my bad. I'm trying to drag Chris right off topic. He was raring and ready to go. Obviously, we'll take a look at the car racing. Praga R1, 365 brake horsepower, all of which goes to the rear wheels. And of course, it is light. It's very much like a light, almost like a prototype. Basically, as if you took like an open wheel and slapped a body kit on it. Fantastically fast, good fun, actually quite good. For racing, which we will need around here because it's not very big. You do need a small car to go racing around here. We'll discuss a little bit as to how the strategy and stuff going to work out, how they're going to have to maybe look after or attack their tyres, courtesy of the format, which sees 2 races of action. Cam, you've not commentated on one of these, but 2 races of action. They're in qualifying at the moment before we get to those 2 races, both of which have a mandatory pit stop in.
Yeah, sort of a mixture between the MX-5 and the Praga Cup formats, but it's cool that we have the top 10 reverse for the second race as well. So yeah, plenty of action, and obviously with the pit stops too, it's going to be a good one. I think. But yeah, my first time seeing one of these races this season, so I'm expecting it to be quite good. And the championship fight, while it may be separated just a little bit for first place, in behind for your second place finish is looking very, very close.
Yeah, indeed. Luciano Vitt that you can see there on top of the points, a dominant position. However, a couple of mistakes this round. You never really know. You're absolutely right, though. Really close for second. Mate Mikiewicz, Peter Daniel and Mihai Neg. Victor Stratman's a little bit too far removed from that, but 4 points separating second through fourth should be a lot of fun. Obviously, the driver list as well. We always know that for this, it's exciting. It's always a lot of fun. We do have one Mr. Enzo Filipao joining us for the season finale. Makes sense. The highest ranked person on the entirety of RaceRoom, Luciano Vitt there. Obviously, our championship leader, so to speak. I say Mate Mikiewicz, Victor Stratmans, Sven Mackerberg, Evtushenko. We've got some good names on the list as always. Very curious to see how the likes of Enzo Filipao get along in this car.
Yes, he was sort of a later addition to this championship, or the ranked championship in general, I should say, and especially in the Porsche Cup, the final 2 rounds. I mean, he was properly up there, as we know, being one of the fastest drivers on the service. So I just can't wait to see how he's going to attack this. And the cool thing is, because he's not in that championship battle, he can just go all out. He literally has 0 risk in that regard, and that makes it a little bit more difficult for Wittberg and Mikiewicz, because they're trying to battle for a championship, and they've got this guy in the middle getting involved.
Yeah, but Cam, if there's one thing that I will say about this circuit, above all else, you've got to qualify well. I mean, yes, I know there's a top 10 reverse grid for the second race, fair enough, but this is a tricky track to overtake at. So qualifying, which we'll jump into in a moment, you've only got 10 minutes left to go in it. Getting that final lap time onto the board and throwing yourself into this, really, really important around here.
Oh, definitely. It's definitely a raceable track, but it's not one where you're just going to be overtaking every single lap. It's not like what we saw, for instance, at Bathurst last week in the Praga Cup, where every single lap you could just reverse the position. It's not like that. It may take you a few laps to work up to it. So, therefore, the qualifying positions are even more important. And as you see, the first lap times are coming in. And yeah, if you miss by even sort of 5 positions on the grid or so, it's going to be a lot harder to come back from that. Well, what a car to have around here. You can already see there coming down Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. The speed that we're going to see around here is pretty amazing.
Yeah, let's take a look as we ride on board. We go through Druids and then drop down to Graham Hill Bend. It's not quite as downhill as maybe it looks, maybe it feels like it should be, but a great corner going through that left-hander. Down now towards Surtees on the Cooper Straight. Hook it in for a slightly later apex here as you push it up and over the rise. This is onto the Grand Prix stretch of the circuit. Obviously, Indy's gone off to the right-hand side. We don't race on that one. Already pulling off the lap time, I believe, is Enzo Filipao just to jump out someone's way. We'll still keep our eye on this circuit. Going down Pilgrim's Drop up to Hawthorne Bend. You want to kind of pull it into a slightly late apex around there. You can get plenty of side-by-side, though, through there before we get to Westfield. This is one where You don't want to take too much to the inside, but you don't want to be too scared of it, because you do need to use quite a lot of that curve as we rise up Dingledale, love that name, up towards Sheen's curve, and then down towards Sterling's, the penultimate corner on this track before we get this final little stretch at Clearways down towards the Clark curve, the last one on the course. Enzo Filipow's already set a 1 minute 19.5 in this session, which sees him on pole position by 0.2 of a second. But around the circuit, you can see big swings on time as the session evolves, just because to hook a lap up around here is really hard. In fact, in all my time racing on British circuits, in esports sim racing, I maintain I think this is probably the hardest.
Oh, definitely. I think it's just because of the speed of it. A lot of the other circuits are kind of, while they're also narrow, they're also kind of slow, but this one, especially this GP loop, I mean, all of these right-handers are so fast. You have to be so committed as well over the curbs. You really have to play the track limits game just a little bit, so it's a fun one. I was checking actually some times of just to get some reference. GT3s around here they're sort of in the 21s, 22, so about 3 seconds faster than that. BTCC sort of do 29, so about 10 seconds faster than that. So it's a really fast car around here, especially this final corner of Clark and Clearways. Oh my god, the amount of speed that you can take through that is an amazing one. As we've seen, Vitber here, of course, currently down in 3rd place, 0.3 of a second across the line. Is he going to be able to improve in his lap time? No, not this time around. Filippo, though, he's on a purple sector too.
And what does GB3 do around here? I think that's a bit quicker. Those are rapid around here, by the way.
It's not on my list.
It's not terrible. It's not a long circuit, so you do just tick off laps time and time again as Enzo Filippo crosses the line, and I don't think he actually improved on. Oh, he did. He improved to a 1 minute 19.5. Which he was already on, but this time he's improved it to make it slightly more perfect because it's a 0.500. So congratulations there. Matej Mikiewicz already bailed from that lap time, 2.6 seconds down in that second sector. Here is Luciano Vitford looking to take the crown in the Praga Cup and end the RaceRoom Ranked Championship on the high that he so dearly deserves. Faster in the first sector, and there is the track limit excursions at Westfield Bend. If you run wide coming out of there, you will get your lap time invalidated. That's exactly what we've seen from Luciano Vitford.
Yes, absolutely. Difficult track, and just to finish the point on the lap times, do you know what the lap record is here? Apparently, when obviously F1 back in the day, slightly different to what we have now, but a 109.
Well, I was going to say it was a 109 of some description, yeah. I think so. I can't remember what we were in. I think it was like 13s or 14s.
Yeah, that is pretty fast. Only 10 seconds off as Mikiewicz actually. Purple in that first sector, just 6 minutes left. There's a short lap time, so you will be able to get another sort of 3 laps in between now and the end of the session, but that is a very fast already by half a second in that first sector.
Took a lot of understeer though, going through Hawthorns, now through Westfield Bend. Didn't take any of that curb on the exit. Already on the inside, which is absolutely fine. Dingledale, now Sheen. Completely blind going through Sheen over to the right-hand side. It's such a brave corner. Going all right through that middle sector, looking to try and improve. We'll have to dig deep to try and beat Enzo Filippo. Gets a little bit of slipstream as well on the run up towards the final corner. We'll throw it through. Ooh, big snap of oversteer going over the crest at Clark. It's not going to be enough to grab pole position, but might be enough just to improve and maybe secure that second position. The answer to that question is new. It's just that big loss in that final corner. That was a big snap.
Yeah, didn't get the drive and the momentum onto the straight. It is a bit of a short one, but certainly enough to lose some time. That time would have kept him in second place, though, even if he didn't have that lap time already. So still a very strong lap and showing that he can replicate. There's a lot of double reds out there, so a lot of track invalidations. And Mikiewicz already goes faster again in that first sector. Vitver across the line, though, is going to find something in that final sector, just a couple of corners. Now he's in the 20s, so way off, but he'll continue on for another lap.
Mikiewicz's first sector is not quite as fast as his previous one, but maybe there's enough grip left in the tyres. Look who else is going purple in that first sector. Enzo Filippo's not satisfied with the perfect 1:19.500 that he's got. Would like to improve. Has gone about 300th of a second faster in that first sector. You'll see them come through into the second sector split as fully committed as possible. Matej Mikiewicz goes and has dropped about 1/10.5 in the middle sector.
What a slide that was. It wasn't like a massive drift, but it was just a nice little power slide out of the corner, as it seems to be really important in this car. He was doing it at the exit of Sterling's as well. Car's off to the left, but he stays flat out. Shortest run up towards the line. What is it going to be? It's going to be a 19.7. Oh, less than 2/10 now. Up towards Filippo as he improves his lap time, but not his position. Stays in second place.
Yeah, it's a 6.98 at the moment for Matej Mikiewicz, and I think that is session basically done, although I do believe is leaving pit lane. To be fair, 4 minutes left to go. You forget with such a short lap time, 4 minutes, you've actually got quite a few laps left to go in this session, so might as well get some fresh boots onto the machine and send it once more out. Eduardo Gilbert has had a bit of a problem and caused a yellow flag. Enzo Filippo also joining him on that one, and they'll return to pit lane, potentially go out for one final run in this session. We'll see Peter Daniel out through the final corner, currently in 6th position, looking to improve, although I will say with those second times, probably not going to. Maybe improve time, but not position. Doesn't improve either.
Stays there in 6th place, and he had an awesome run in the Praga Cups last week. Had a bit of a spin in that first race, but he came back up something like 14 places in the second race. Really, really good job there for Peter Daniel, and just confirming that again, being up into 6th places. Gerhard is coming out of the final corner now. Double greens, might be an improvement. In 7th place currently, up towards the line. He's 2/10 just to get even one position, but he improves that by 4/10, goes up into 5th place. What a jump there, and he's got enough time for another lap.
Lots of red on our timing sheet, as well as lots of drivers who've had lap times invalidated. It does happen around here. There's a couple of positions on the circuit which you can invalidate. Graham Hill Bend on the exit, you could do so, and of course the exit of Westfield. You can also do it at Paddock Hill if you're very ambitious on the exit there. Yeah, there are a couple of others, but really those are the main ones. I mean, I've had my fair share of doing it here. Although to be fair, if you're going wide enough to invalidate a lap time here, the lap time ain't good. So there is that. So Peter Daniel can do this lap again, first and second sector, pretty much the same as last lap. It's improving, yes, but not looking likely for a position gain.
Yes, potentially not, with the sort of 10th and a half he needs to get to Sven Mackenberg just up ahead of him. Gets the run up towards the line, shortest run. What is it going to be? It does improve just a little bit, but not enough. Just 7,000ths actually up towards Mackenberg, so a good effort, but he needs a little bit more if he wants to improve his position.
Actually a solid final sector there. They've only lost, what, 400th maybe to Enzo Filippo's final sector, so it's not really that bad, all things considered, as the session is really winding down now. We do not have long to go. Everyone preparing for their last laps in the session. It is the last one from Peter Daniel, and does have a little bit of traffic ahead, and will bail from the lap time. I believe that might have been Remy Verhagen who was the one ahead.
And you need to be starting your lap right now if you want to get it in. Of course, session finishes when we get to 0. So some of the drivers now will be doing their final laps of the session. Here is Daniel Grad down in 18th position, 2 seconds off, but he is improving in that first sector compared to his own time. He's coming up towards the second sector. Huge slide though. That's going to loosen some time as he exits Sheen, and he's going green again though in the second sector.
Yeah, and being a bit further down, there could be some potential for some larger gains, although again, unless it's actually a really, really solid final sector, Daniel Grano, I will say that does not look rapid through the final corner. 2 more drivers to come across the line, although Mihai Neg has already bailed from the time, and there is no improvement coming the way of Verhagen. So across the line, Gra will go, no improvement there. And that will be the session coming to a close. So Enzo Filippo will have the pole position on debut in the Praga Cup. We know obviously the highest ranked driver in the RaceRoom ranked side of things. Matej Mikiewicz in second position, with Luciano Wittfurt looking for the championship. Will start from third. Mihai Neg, Gerhardt, Sven Mackenberg, Peter Daniel, Evtushenko, Obratau and Rokas to be round out that top 10. All separated by about 1.2 seconds. Only a few thousandths behind was Victor Stretemans, who is looking for some good things in the championship. Starting from 11th spot, it will be tough work from there, but you never really know. Vaz, Gilbert, Prinder, Mish, Defect, Verhagen, Gra, Klein and Ornelas round out the 20-car field here, Cam. What are we expecting in this one?
Oh, I'm not too sure, but yeah, just another word on Streetemans. Obviously 5th place in the championship, a bit low down than he would have wanted. Over the course of the 30 two 30-minute races, I think we're expecting some very, very tough battles. It's not, as we were mentioning earlier, it's not going to be just absolutely sending it down the inside every single lap. You're going to have to work for it. And if you're going to be making an overtake, especially into Druids turn 2, maybe even towards the end of the back straight up towards Hawthorne Bend, it's going to be a bit of a send. So do expect some action-packed, exciting overtakes when we do get to them. And of course, we need to see what Vitva is going to do. Obviously leading the way in the championship, but it's not done. We're still 50 points on offer for the total of the round.
Yeah, exactly. Again, if you've joined us, joining us here for the first time, the way it works is you don't get points for the race, you get points for the round. So effectively, it's about having the best position across the round. The way to describe that is very confusing because I'm going to bring up points again because you effectively get points in the round that then total up to give you your position from the round, which then give you your points. Which the way I've described there is horrendous. And
it's a mini championship.
It's a mini championship.
So, like, the two races have their own point system, but that's sort of irrelevant. It's behind the scenes. And then, the winner of the mini championship today gets the points that go towards the overall championship. So, it's certainly an interesting one. And obviously, we have the top 10 reversed grid as well. So that adds a huge incentive for those in sort of, 12th, 13th place to push up into that top 10 in this first race and get a front row start.
Yeah, it's a format that I actually, a way of points I do really like because it's different. But despite us dealing with this now for a couple of years basically, we still haven't found a good way of explaining it to you on broadcast. So we do apologise. But either way, to give you a bit of a description here, Luciano Vitford will be starting from 3rd position on the grid. Mate Mikiewicz starting from 2nd on the grid. Mihai Neg only starting from 4th, so isn't that far behind. Petter Danielo starting from 7th. Victor Stretemans, yes, is an outsider for us, starting from 11th. So for some of those battling for 2nd, for the likes of Petter Daniel, for a bit of an uphill struggle now. Needs to get through the race nice and cleanly, and maybe put himself in a good position, I guess, for the 2nd race where it's got the top 10 reverse. Who knows? Either way, we'll see them out onto the grid because the lights will come on and we are about to go racing. Enzo Filipao from pole position in the season finale here in the Praga Cup of the RaceRoom Ranked Championship as we head underway at Brands Hatch. Enzo Filipao with a solid launch, but not quite solid enough to beat off Luciano Vitford straight around the outside. Mate Mikiewicz, though, with the inside line going through the first corners. We drop down Paddock Hill. There's a spinner in the background. That's Rokas de B who's dropped down. Mate Mikiewicz with the head of the field. Mihai Neg coming through. And it looks like Luciano Vitford is getting hung out to dry.
Back down to 4th place. At one point, he's looking at 1st. Now down to 4th. What a crazy first couple of corners there as he had the whole shot but couldn't quite keep it. Might even go down to 5th place as we're getting Petter Daniel now trying to come round the outside. Up through 30's not enough this time around, but what a move as Vitford dives it up the inside there to actually take back potentially 3rd place if he can hold it all the way around the outside of the slipstream.
Yeah, got to be really brave though, like I say, when rising up the hill. There's plenty of opportunity to do so. There's a little bit of a look down the inside. I think that's Gerhardt just trying to send it through. Alas, single file is the opportune moment around here. You don't really want to go for too many big dives, and I think for Gerhardt that might have actually backfired somewhat. Going out wide now under pressure from Sven Mackenberg. Victor Stretemans has worked his way out now into 8th position after starting from outside of the top 10, so a solid effort there. Evtushenko directly behind, staring for any opportunity. So these cars have raced actually quite well around here. They're quite small, they make it work.
I guess the size does definitely make a difference around this sort of circuit being quite narrow, these cars, but also on a pretty narrow circuit, especially around the back end. We get a bit of side-by-side up towards turn 1 in the midfield, but the top lot are staying pretty single file as they found themselves into their position. Look how much you go down before you come back up again in towards Druids, and then you slam on the brakes to one of the best overtaking opportunities. A little bit of look there up the inside from someone as they go way too wide coming through Druids. Back down the hill there to manage to keep it in. That is Eduardo Gilbert down in 14th place. Yeah, Gilbert defending now from Prinder, obviously behind. Do see off the rear end of the field, O'Neill's not quite got the pace to keep up with Klein, and also Roker to be after that spin of the first corner, back there with defect off the rear end of the field. 1 second separates the top 2 to the rest of the field. Mate Mikiewicz obviously setting the fastest lap there, fair enough, that's expected, courtesy of the, he was the one leading. Enzo Filipao, though, keeping in very close company. I think there might have been a couple of scares there for the Frenchman over the first lap there, dropping back into the clutch. He was able to keep the car on the straight and narrow. Yeah, absolutely. It's a tough one to keep it this track, as you mentioned, with the track limits and obviously being an old school track as well. If you go wide here, you're in the grass, you're in the gravel. It's not one of those tracks that has all the tarmac. You really have to be high commitment, but the risk that comes to that is very, very high as well. As Daniel gets a little bit of a run there, actually up towards turn number 1. Vivo having to defend a little bit to the inside there, looking in the mirrors. Daniel not quite able to make that move. And in the background, Gerhard having a big swapperoo coming through turn 1. Having now to defend on the inside. So Sven Mackenberg gets close up towards Druid, but no position, no overtake just yet.
Thought I'd been joined with a comedy brief there by Zach Sweeney, dropping a cheeky swapperoo there through the first corner. Yes, absolutely fine there, but a scary moment for Gerhard, feeling the pressure. Saw a couple of moments on that first lap, of course, most notably going through Westfield Bend. Saw a little bit there at Paddock, maybe struggling a little bit with the balance of the car, a bit more of a slide there coming out onto the Grand Prix loop. But yeah, this is a circuit where you do typically see cars getting a little bit slip and slidey, especially in the first laps. Do remember they have a pit stop to make in this race, and during that pit stop they must change at least two tyres. And to be fair, around here I think it's fairly high tyre wear circuit, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll just think this. Do you change just the rears or just the left-hand tyres? It's certainly quite an interesting choice with that one. It's or do you go for all four? Be a little bit spicy.
I was going to say around here, this is most of the circuits that we've been to this season. I was always like, yeah, obviously you just change front rears or whatever. Around here, this is the first one where I'm like looking at it being like, depending on the time, I might change all four. As Gra goes out wide, opens up the door for Vaj to go through, and I think Prinder might be taking a little bit of a look down the inside going into that first corner. The slipstream working in their advantage, but it is Gra holding that position, which is now 14th position. Prinder with no way past just yet.
Now that definitely shows you how one little mistake you could lose a position around here. This car is so high speed that any sort of momentum loss to such, any speed loss onto the straights, just missing the apex, going over wide, whatever it is, and they just fly past you at such high speed. It's pretty incredible and pretty ruthless style of racing. And even lower down, these guys are fighting for absolutely everything because they know the points count, especially with being just 20 cars out there on the track, and literally every position is worth points, quite literally. So very, very good indeed that you can just keep on pushing up like that. Up back towards the front though, we're looking from Petter Daniel, and of course he's got Gerhard all over the back, pushing his way through. It's such a high intensity track here. His car goes a little bit wide there, next to Sheens, but yeah, you really have to sort of do qualifying laps around here. You can't back off too much.
No, you absolutely. That's for so many reasons. This is such a rhythm circuit compared to, oh goodness me, another moment from Gerhard going through the final corner. Counter to some of the circuits that we've been to, this season. Like I say, with the likes of Silverstone, Suzuka. Whilst yes, there is rhythm to them, because there's like quite long straights. You can jump in and jump out of the rhythm, not too bad. Around here, the longest actual straight on this circuit is the one where you go out onto the Grand Prix. That's it, and it's not that long. This isn't that long, so this barely counts because you're already thinking about the next corner immediately. Once you go through it and head up the hill and then out onto the Grand Prix loop, this is the most time you have to think. Everything else around the circuit has to be natural reaction.
Yeah, it definitely is. It just keeps on coming at you because, as you say, you only get sort of 100 meters between each corner of actual thinking time. The rest of it is braking and trying to go through the corner. It's a very difficult one. And with that, especially with just the speed of these cars as well, you have to be committed. So it's not like you just turn up to the corner and drive it. You have to really, really be committed. The pit window opens within the minute already, as we're going to see some drivers come in. But look at Gilbert there, got up into 12th place, now trying to make it 11th.
Yeah, Gaspar Misch feeling the pressure from behind, and he, to be fair, was driving quite well around the back end of the circuit, did finish in apex, and was able to keep it in 11th position, although he's now one shy of of that all-important top 10 reverse grid. I will say, as much as I do love this circuit, the one criticism that I have, we will see in 30 seconds time, and that is the pit lane, which around here is an absolute abomination. On both sides, entrance and exit, both are terrible, some of the worst in world motorsport.
Oh, I agree. It's not a nice one, absolutely, especially the pit exit. You come right out onto such a fast corner, but also, yeah, the final corner as well. We'll get to that in a second, because Gilbert diving it down the inside in towards Surtees. He's going to keep it on that apex. As the pit window opens, it's to the outside. Kasper Misch is going to have to try and defend and work his way through. Actually, sorry, my bad, this is on. Kasper Misch trying to make that overtake stick. Oh, will contact as we come up towards Hawthorne Bend. Such a fast corner, side by side they go.
Wow.
Contact is made, and around Misch goes.
Yeah, but he might just be able to catch it. No, unfortunately, he is pointing in the wrong direction. We'll have to flick spin it. Whoa, okay. Woo, he slapped it straight in the barrier as well. He was desperate to jump off the racing line there. Fair enough. I mean, side by side in that corner. Again, maybe space wasn't given. Maybe it was a bit too ambitious. Who knows? Either way, the yellow flag is out in the third and final sector, courtesy, or second row, as Misch gets back going again into the pit lane. Victor Stretemans comes down and will bring it onto the lane. Goes through that really hilariously awkward chicane. And then is onto the lane. Not the only one to have bitten though, because Prinder will also join them in the pit lane.
Yes, certainly. I always wonder if in a situation like this, what is better? Do you want to have, because if you pit early, I guess you go into some clean air, you have the fresher tyres, but then you have to go longer on the second stint. Whereas if you stay out longer, you then have fresher tyres at the end. So it's sort of a bit of a trade-off. And if you go somewhere in the middle, then you don't really get either benefit. So it's always a bit of a difficult one in these slightly shorter races that have these pit stops, but more people coming as well, roads to be. Misch is still seemingly not continuing or has continued, I should say, but still yet causing some yellow flags there. And yeah, I just wonder if these top lot are going to stay out until everyone pits behind them.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is with this circuit is, with this championship anyway, because of how this works, we kind of discussed this over the previous rounds, is that when you pit, you may want to take 2 tyres or 4 tyres. The earlier you pit, the more likely it is that 2 tyres is the better option. Because obviously if you pit with 10 minutes left to go, well, you've worn quite a few tyres quite a lot. But and then when you change 2, then the balance of the car is really, really extreme. Meanwhile, if you pit like now, or as early as possible, you've not worn the tyres enough yet that when you stick 2 on, it's not as much of a jump between the 2 tyres. So the balance of the car should remain fairly neutral. Which that's like the main reason as to why I bought stuff early, especially if you're further down the order.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. I didn't really think about the balance of the tyres so much. I guess also a bit of track position. Because if you look, the drivers, they're coming up towards the final corner now on that track map, as we get a huge defensive line from Mikic there. Yeah, they're coming up towards the final corner. They got completely clear air. They're not in that mid-pack battling with drivers, so that is also a benefit as well. So, how wide they run there. Philip Howe is really starting to push as we've had some issues there for Hergé. Goes down, and he's obviously had a swap around somewhere at Surtees.
Yeah. I think also climbs back in pit lane as we take a look a little further down the order. Gilbert getting past Obratel, straight around the outside. Evtushenko at the head of this trio. Oh my goodness me, trying to get to the outside, coming up the hill. This is a big one going around Sheen. That is absolutely mega.
Insane move. That is some commitment around such a fast corner as well. Had to have complete trust in his battling rival there, Evtushenko, who's now got Orbital getting right at the back of him. Oh, but not for now, as he's going to come into the pit lane after losing that place. But wow, that is probably, hopefully, going to be a move of the race, unless someone else can try something ridiculous.
I don't see anyone or too many people beating that, I'm not going to lie, to have gone around the outside there. I mean, I've seen moves on the inside. I've seen a lot of dives and that. It's a very short braking zone there into a completely blind corner. But around the outside, just about given the right amount of room, just about given the right amount of respect to your competitor, that was extremely brave. So Gilbert doing an absolutely fantastic job to have got past Evtushenko there, Hergé into the pit lane as well, as the pair of those will drop down. Thankfully, their time in pit lane isn't long enough to bring them back into the clutches of the leading group. Enzo Filipao has the fastest lap of the race as we very quickly approach the halfway point of this one. Just 0.4 of a second separate first and second, but it's further down the order where we're seeing all the battles out wide. Mihai Neg's gone, or it might even be Lucio. I think it was Mihai Neg. Either way, Lucio Limifit is feeling the pressure. Maybe doesn't need to. Right now, things are looking pretty set up for him. Another podium leaves him in a fairly solid spot for the next race, just to go and take the crown.
Yeah, he pretty much needs to finish in the top 10 overall this round, and then he'll have the championship sorted no matter what Mikovic does, even if he wins both races. So obviously Mikovic is putting himself in a very, very good position, as it was Daniel there coming into the pit lane that time around. But so yeah, Vitva doesn't need to take any silly risks. But when you got someone like Mihai Neg, who of course is a ranked champion himself, up behind, it certainly makes that job just a little bit more difficult. But especially if we go back to season 1 of 2023 as well, Vitva was so good and so dominant in that part. He definitely knows how to do this.
Indeed, as we see Daniel and Enzo, Gilbert into the pit lane as well. Gilbert, obviously for Daniel, this is kind of important to maybe try something a little bit different, slightly out of position, looking to battle for second position in the standings. Obviously needs to get a top 10, needs to be involved in that reverse grid, but right now, realistically, needs something very special if he is one to take that second place in the championship, courtesy of Matej Mikovic and Mihai Neg, the two people he's battling for that second position in the championship, running first and fourth. Mikovic also dealing with the pressure beautifully from Enzo Filipao, even though every single lap that passes, it seems like that pressure builds.
Absolutely, and Mikovic is defending, sort of doing a slight defensive line to a lot of corners, but Filipao hasn't really had a proper opportunity to overtake just yet, considering the consistency of these two drivers. I'm not really too surprised with that one, but Filipao's starting to really put the pressure on, and I wonder who's going to make the first jump here into the pit lane. Is it going to be the leading driver or the trailing driver that sees either the overcut or undercut is the best one to do? We're getting to that halfway point though, so that definitely it sort of opens up the door for that, but let's see how that one continues, as Vaj and Orbital also come into the pit lane, as Dufek as well. So it looks like they're sort of dropping off the back of the field one by one, and so maybe these guys, they just want to pick something up.
You say about all these defensive lines that Mikovic is taking. Did you not know that Brands Hatch is the land of the diagonal braking zone? Because damn, every single one is, and I am not joking.
That's true.
If you want to defending around here, this is why I'm quite happy with pitting early around here, because even if you have to defend from someone later on, realistically it's not too bad, because I am not joking, every braking zone is trail braking into a corner and it's just diagonal. Particularly turn 2 at Druids, the hairpin basically at the top of your screen. Once you get into that, if you ever want to defend into there, you just take a diagonal move, because getting around the outside there is really difficult. Not impossible, but really difficult.
Yeah, that's a good point. As you're saying, I hadn't quite considered it that way before, but yeah, you're right. And I think that just also proves the high-speed nature of this course as well. Just the way. But yeah, this braking zone as well. Yeah, you're sort of already turning in as you're braking. There's a lot of long radius corners. They're not sort of tight and twisty. Even that turn 2 up at Druids, as you say, is quite an open hairpin compared to a lot of them, and it's working out well for Mikovic right now. Because that 0.3 of a second gap behind him has been there for quite a few laps. He's holding on to it really, really well, and he's doing a very good job. Not even feeling the pressure this time around from Filipao, so he's definitely got the speed into that one. As everyone, apart from the top 8 so far, have hit it.
Trust me, Cam, I remember my time racing this circuit. I think it might have been 5 or 6 years ago, defending from a driver called Niels Brugman for the entirety of a race. And
Did you win? Or was that for like P20?
No, I won. How dare you?
Congratulations. Now you were pretty
on that grid.
Yeah, you were pretty.
How dare you? It was a reverse grid.
Was Kevin Ziggy in that one?
Kevin Ziggy was in that one, yeah.
Oh, nice.
As into the pit lane, Enzo Filipao will finally go. I don't know if was Kevin Ziggy in action in the DTM shootout the other day. I don't believe he was.
I don't remember seeing his name. At least
no, I don't remember seeing it either. I can see quite a lot of fantastic drivers on that grid.
It was pretty stacked.
It was pretty stacked.
And then when I saw the format as well, I was like, oh, that's going to be difficult to qualify.
And everyone's favourite, Gianmarco Fiducci.
Love it.
That's fine. We do love Gianmarco. If you're watching, big fan. No bias, big fan. As we'll see Luciano Bitfit ticking off another lap. Obviously, they've got a little while before they have to come into pit lane, but I would suspect Matej Mikovic might be into pit lane straight away.
I think it's the smart thing to do, is to just come in and cover that one off, especially with how small the gap is. You don't want to let your sort of older tyres be undercut at all. But let's see how Mikovic plays this race. Still 12 and a bit minutes to go. So he might think, oh, actually, no, I'll stay out for a few laps longer and try and get some sort of advantage in towards the final few minutes of the race. He's already getting up towards some lap traffic, though, so that might actually help his decision-making, as in he doesn't want to lose any time behind them on this next lap. So is he going to come in? Yes, he does. So he's going to return the favour and see where he comes out with his rival.
Yeah, indeed. We'll have to wait and see where Mikovic is going to come through. There is Lucianovic onto the lane, and he has also dragged in Mihai Neg as well. So Gerhardt will take over the race lead presently. Sven Mackerberg up now into second position. We'll keep our eye on Enzo Filipao as to where he's going to come out comparatively to Mikovic, as we do have a bit of an issue in that final sector. It's Verhaag dropping down the order, so a big shame there. By the way, we were talking about the DTM shootout there. If you do want to come and take part, the qualifying for the shootout, the leaderboard, is open at the moment. Zandvoort closes Monday morning, so you've got plenty of days, and we are wisely informed there might be a few Team Redline drivers, including one Mr. Kevin Siggy, on the list. So if you fancy going to destroy Kevin Siggy like I have done many times, off you go. I haven't.
Could you do it now, though, is the point?
God, no.
Lost your touchness.
Absolutely not. Well, it's partial that I've lost my touch, and also that he has got a lot quicker. So
yeah,
there is also
true.
that. And he has a mustache. So
he does. I think you should try that, though.
Have a mustache? No. I can't put it off like some people in the booth. In fact, you are the only one who has on this side of things that has any facial hair. So
yeah, maybe I need to shave the rest of it off. Just have a moustache.
Just to join. Oh right, I'll just shave it all off just to join us. Let's be honest, the other three definitely can't have any facial hair. So there is that. Anyway, back into the race we'll go as we look at Prinder, Evtushenko and Gilbert. We've seen some fantastic moves from Gilbert all the way through this race, including that excellent one around the outside of Sheen. We'll have to do it again. Maybe see if he's going to be to work his way back inside the all-important top 10. We'll add.
Absolutely, and something that we potentially did miss is Mikovic is now, he's not just behind Filipao, but he's behind by a good few seconds.
Yeah.
So that undercut, just one lap extra, changed quite a lot. Mikovic wasn't really hindered by that traffic up ahead of him, so that just shows you how powerful potentially those new tyres are. And Filipao, coming later into this championship, is just showing the pace that we know he's got.
If not, what it could have been, Enzo Filipao might have been holding some pace back and then just kicked it into overdrive, to the point where I think even if Mate Mikovic had pitted one lap before Enzo Filipao, so I've got to wonder if the Frenchman would have returned his way up into the lead of the group that have pitted. It down the inside, we'll see Gilbert make a move on Evtushenko. It was Evtushenko that he did that fantastic move around the outside, and once again completes another lovely move around Brands Hatch, as we've not seen too many overtakes in this race, as is to be expected around a circuit like this. However, Gilbert is capturing the imagination here in Kent.
Yeah,
virtual Kent. My home territory.
Yeah, not much quantity, of course, as you mentioned, because it's tracked out, but the quality of the overtakes, every single one of them has been a really good hard-fought move, and that is what we like to see, not just the easy slip-through moves on a straight line. So Gilbert, especially one of the drivers, he's picked up quite a few places so far this race, and he's doing a good job. And someone I've noticed as well is Rokas to be down in 14th place, or spinning out on down Paddock Hill Bend on lap 1, and he's making up some decent progress, just what's that, about 5 seconds behind this battle.
Yeah, exactly. It's a solid recovery. I did lose an awful lot of time in all of that, and like you say, just doing a solid job. Defect also another one in there, as we'll see Enzo Gilbert to the outside of Paddock Hill, and surely not going to be fought too hard by Prinder. So Gilbert finds himself in 10th position now, and all things considered, could be looking really solid for the next race. Evtushenko switched it up to try and get down the inside of Prinder, and is unable to do so. The final laps for those to come into the pit lane, so we will see Gerhardt and Sven Mackerberg into the pit lane. You could argue Sven Mackerberg's not had a particularly solid run this round, does he? Considering we know the pace of him.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember if it was him or Marvin. I'm pretty sure Sven last week as well. And the Praga Cup was also not quite on the pace necessarily that you would expect as the final pit stop comes in from Gerhard and Mackenberg, as the pit window is very much closing. So that is going to leave Philippau to retake the lead, and by a good few seconds as well. He timed that pit stop to perfection, and his pace is really showing off here. So Mikovic, he really needs to win both races to have a proper chance at the championship, especially considering that Witwer is now into third place. We'll have to see how it works out over the second one. But yeah, Witwer really top 10 combined over the two races. He's looking pretty good. So Mikovic needs to try and chase down the Frenchman as the pit window closes.
Yes, indeed. And you know what? I don't think Enzo Philippau is catchable for Matej Mikovic. But at the moment, remember what Mikovic is aiming for right now. Is it the race victory? Yeah, obviously it is. But most importantly, above all else, it is second in the championship. At the moment, things are looking tidy. Needs to beat Mihai Neg, needs to beat Petter Daniel. Petter Daniel's only gone forward a single position in this race, and that is all. Was unable to close up and pass Gerhard, although maybe there'll be some opportunities in the final portion of the race, depending on the balance of Gerhard's car. Prinder here, obviously dropping off the back of Gilbert, and obviously that is important when it comes to that battle for the final spot inside the top 10. We'll say not too far behind all this is actually Rokas to be, hammering home the recovery drive that we've been saying about from the Dutchman. Any battling up ahead, maybe there is the slightest whiff of a top 10. I very much doubt it, but I have commentated and seen people race around Brands Hatch before.
I mean, to be honest, all of those cars are so close together. If he could try and pick off a couple, then definitely. But he's got 3 seconds to catch and then do the overtaking of 4 cars to get up into the top 10. That is going to be a tough one. But he is certainly faster than his position shows, so he might have those few tenths in hand on those drivers up ahead. But to be fair, they're having a great battle themselves, as Prinder is now under attack once again. Evtushenko almost had to look up the inside of Druids last time around. Is he going to be close enough in that white and blue machine? He's certainly getting closer through the apex of turn 1 up towards Druids. Can he dive it down the inside? He's making Prinder just defend the tiniest bit, but not enough to cause any issues.
Yeah, indeed. Like I say, the odd look here and there as I thought Gilbert was going to run away. There is Petter Daniel looking down the inside of Gerhard now. Didn't quite have the opportunity there, but Petter Daniel, like I said, he's only gone up 1 position this race, trying to fight for second in the championship. This could be a very, very important position for him to tick off. At the moment, he does not have that opportunity. Meanwhile, Gilbert is back under pressure.
Yeah, he's obviously had a bit of a terrible run out of Surtees. Prinder round the outside of Hawthorne Bend. Bit of contact between the two. Evtushenko up the inside. Can he make 2 moves? No, it's going to be just the one as he gets back Prinder. He's been trying to do for a couple of laps now. And of course, Vaj is on the back of this as well. So 4-car battle for the final place inside the top 10 with just about 3-4 laps remaining. Huge run wide there onto the grass from Evtushenko as he chases down Gilbert.
Yeah, Evtushenko just pushing a little bit too hard there through the final portion of the Grand Prix layout. Once again, looming large in the background is Rokas to be. Any big battling between this lot, any big mistakes between this lot, will be right back at the door, knocking, hoping for that top 10. And yeah, we know he's going to pay for it. Because that spin down at T1 completely turned his fortunes in the race. There's a bit of a slide going through the first corner there from Vaj. Keep our eye on Evtushenko. I don't know how they caught back up together, because I thought Gilbert was going to run away as he did kind of in the first stint. Maybe the balance isn't quite right, courtesy of when they've changed the tyres on Gilbert's car.
Ooh, that's a very good point, actually. Yeah, there might be a bit of a tyre difference at this point in the race, and especially actually what you're saying, the balance is probably quite important. If you only change 2 tyres, that might be hopefully something that they practice, but you never know. As we're coming up towards the final few laps of the first race, of course, we've got 1 more coming with the top 10 reverse. So actually, this is for a reverse grid pole. I hadn't quite considered that, but that is why they're defending. Gilbert's defending so hard, because it's the difference between 11th or 1st when we get to race 2.
Yeah, indeed. This is it's a tough position to swallow, being in 11th spot in here. That's why you just don't want to deal with it, because that can completely change your evening. You could be looking at a potential race victory or struggling to get inside the top 10. It is a big, big switch. It's a big opportunity. And right now, what we're looking at is one person who's going to be leaving this race happy, and in a solid position for the next race, and 3 people that'll be looking at it frustrated, devastated that this evening is not potentially going to go the way that they were hoping. Like I said, that can leave a lot of frustration on the face. I'd maybe chuck Rokas to be in there, but to be fair, I think after T1, I'm pretty sure he'd take a recovery to 14.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he was completely out of it off the back of the train as well. He wasn't just in 20th, he was a few seconds behind, so that's quite an unfortunate one. And talking about, actually, it looks like Kashmir is still going out there, so all 20 drivers getting to the end of this first race, which is what we love to see, as Gilbert actually makes a little bit of a gap, maybe about 4 or 5 car lengths as we come down the back straight up towards Hawthorne Bend. He's looking good, and he's worked hard for it, as you see there, and one of the only sort of, 5-6 drivers to really make some proper moves this race.
Yeah, indeed. Per Daniel only up 1, and that's on Sven Mackenberg, but looking to go up the second on Gerhardt at the moment for 5th place. 2 minutes left to go in the race. We're about to start the penultimate lap of proceedings here in the first race of this evening at Brands Hatch. 1 more race will follow after this, and then we'll be done for the RaceRoom Rank Championship Season 2 of 2023, again, start of 2024. The final rounds from each of the 3 categories taking part in 2024 to start out the new year for a lot of these drivers. As we look back to Vaj on the rear end of Prinder, big overdrive coming off the final corner to the outside of Paddock Hill. Got to be very brave, and the Brazilian is brave. Sends it all the way around the outside. A bit of a hip check between the pair of them, with Prinder on the inside line as they run up towards the second corner at Druids. I think Vaj is going to have to bail from that attempt, but was almost looking for the up and under there.
Certainly was. That was a huge high-risk move around the outside, but Prinder was able to hold on. But what that has done is it's opened up the gap ahead by the extra half a second or so. So it's really now just a 2-way battle for the final place inside the top 10. But Gilbert also is looking pretty strong to hold on to that one. Evtushenko hasn't been able to reignite that challenge that he had a couple of laps ago. As we come back up towards the front, here's Witwer. And Neger's dropped off the back. He was, of course, almost pushing the Dutchman when we got towards the pit stop inside the final minute now. But Witwer is holding on, and he's looking good for the championship. Just needs to hold on for another race, and it will be all his.
Yeah, indeed. This is looking very solid. It's been a comfortable performance for Luciano Witwer throughout this season, and you know he's looked dominant. He's just picked off races. Verhagen's the one who's gone for a bit of a spin and been there, done that one. Reverses a little bit back onto the racing line, but nothing too major here on the last lap of the race. We'll rejoin right ahead of guess who? Luciano Witwer.
Absolutely, and the battles continue further down. There's Kuhn and Dufek having a bit of a battle themselves, but back continuing inside this top 4 as Witwer is holding on. Final place on the podium. Mihai Neg, he's getting closer in the background. Is he going to be close enough? 10 seconds remain. Philippou, of course, looking strong up towards the front, leading by 2 seconds.
Yeah, indeed. It will be Enzo Philippou down towards the final corner. Had to sit behind Matej Mikiewicz for the entirety of the first in this race. Pit stops came and went. Enzo Philippou took the race lead and will take victory here in the first race of the evening for the Praga Cup as we finish the race here at Brands Hatch. Philippou on top, Matej Mikiewicz behind. That battle for second in the championship, that will taste very sweet indeed. And the championship leader across the line to take 3rd place, and a very important 3rd. Will say Peter Daniel was able to get past Gerhardt on the race up towards the line, so for the Czech driver that is very solid. Again, trying to battle Mihai Neg and Matej Mikiewicz for second in the championship. That will be very, very important indeed. Victor Streetemans, the 4th driver in that fight. A little bit of an outside shot will start the next race from 3rd, as we'll take a look at the race results from that one as we await for the final drivers to come across the line. It is a victory for Enzo Philippou by 2.2 seconds. Looked dominant in all of that. The only thing he didn't do was set fastest lap, because that went to Matej Mikiewicz in the opening stages, courtesy of the clean air, to be perfectly honest. Luciano Witwer 3rd, Mihai Neg, Peter Daniel inside the top 5. Again, Gerhardt, Sven Mackenberg, Victor Streetemans, Obratau and Enzo Gilbert. Take a look at those 10, because they will be reversed for the next race, and we'll see things in a very opposite order as we get ready for that second one. Evtushenko in 11th position in the race will be pretty disappointed to miss out, as we'll see Prinder, Vaj, Rokas to be up to 14th after spinning at T1. Klein, Defek, another one who spun in the opening stages. Ornelas, Verhagen, Gra, and of course Gaspar Misch. Finishing the race, we didn't miss a single driver on the grid. The second race and final one of the RaceRoom Ranked Championship will be coming up in a few moments' time. Me and Cam are going to go and catch our breath and get ourselves ready because it is going to be epic. Season finale mode then. We are in preparations for this last race of the season. Lewis McGlade, Cam Roger in the commentary box as we get ourselves set. Luciano Vitford in position to pick up the Praga Cup crown and everyone battling over that runner-up position. Been a lot of fun on that first race. Excellent win there from Enzo Filipao, but I don't know what we're going to see for this reverse grid, top 10 reverse grid around here. Yeah, it's going to be tricky.
It really is. It's to be honest, we did actually see some pretty decent overtakes in the end, but when you think about it, getting up 10 places if you want to get a double victory is going to be very, very difficult. So what that does is it opens a door actually for some other drivers to potentially fight up towards the front. So maybe someone like Gilbert, who just kept himself inside the top 10, still pretty fast driver. So maybe he has an opportunity to nick some points. But what we did see though is that pit stop was very important. We will have that once again in this second race. Yeah, absolutely required. 2 tyre change within that middle sort of portion of the race. Luciano Vitford, just like you say, needs to get through. Realistically, needs a top 10. A top 10 will settle the championship for him. Fair enough, no problem, but must reach the end of the race. For Mate Mikiewicz, for Peter Daniel, for Mihai Neg, and even for Victor Strettemans, who's going to be starting this race from third, a lot more is on the table to go and grab that second spot. Cam, who's grabbing that second position of the championship?
It's not
I'm
easy,
going to say Mihai Neg.
Really?
I think he's going to jump them all.
I'm going to go Mate Mikiewicz. I think that first race pace, he looked top dollar, he looked fast, he looked comfortable, he looked content. I think maybe a slightly different run on strategy might well work in his favour. Maybe we'll see him come into the pit lane a little earlier just to try and jump some of those drivers. Of course, we'll have to roll himself off of 9th place on this grid. Of course, it'll be a 10th spot for Enzo Filipao. Can he take a double here at Brands Hatch? You never really know. We've got 10 seconds before we see them out onto the grid, and we'll see who is going to take the victory in the season finale here in the Praga Cup. There's plenty more racing on RaceRoom still to come, but our last race of the season, we'll see Eduardo Gilbert starting from the reverse grid pole. Obratal alongside. And we'll see what this race start is going to be like. Such a tricky grid here at Brands Hatch as we begin our race up towards Paddock Hill. Excellent start for the Frenchman. Excellent start though for Victor Strettemans. Straight down the inside for the race lead as we look back at Gerhardt, but Strettemans trying to take over the race lead immediately, trying to battle for second position in the championship and getting very bold and brave indeed.
I knew he was pushing as Gilbert tries to hold on to that one, but Strettemans getting a good couple of positions there with the whole shot in towards turn 1 and held it all the way around. What a start that was, definitely showing you that the starts are quite difficult in this car, but he can't get them right. Mihai Neg there in 8th place, Vitford Mikiewicz, they're way behind him. So there's a Gerhard trying to go around the outside.
Yeah, indeed. Wow. Yeah, you've got to be bold and brave in this. Mihai Neg having to defend. Look at that in the background. Luciano Vitford. Yeah, sure, he's battling for a championship, but doesn't want to sit down in the mid-pack for too much longer. Straight around the outside of Gerhardt, he's going to try and go and remains to have the overlap as they race their way down into Westfield Bend. Has to settle for it, might do the up and under here as we've got Gerhardt getting pulled off the track. And it is the opportunity for Vitford to go through 7th position now for our championship leader. Big crash in the background.
That's to be again. He had an issue on lap 1 in the first race and coming there up through Sheens, having a huge off. A few other drivers sort of going off the track, but De B went massively far off. Must have had some huge contact coming onto the entry there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not It's not a place that you don't see crashes, so they do tend to happen up there, and they do tend to be very, very fast indeed. Sven Mackenberg now dropped behind Peter Daniel, and we'll see the entire contingent race their way through the first corner. Eduardo Gilbert, I keep calling him Enzo because I'm so distracted by Enzo Filipao, who's normally our lone Frenchman. In fact, unfortunately, joins Rokas to be for the second consecutive race. It's those two at the back of the field after first lap drama. Gra and Mish also down there, despite starting quite high up in the previous. Well, quite low down the previous. They're way up a little bit. Either way, inside the top 10, it's finally looking a little bit more set for our race leader.
Yes, definitely, and looking very good. It's a bit of a dive there up the inside, not a big braking zone, as Mihai Neg trying to get past Sven Mackenberg, not enough to make the overtake that time around, but actually up ahead. I think that's Peter Daniel Orbital trying to go side by side. This is not the nicest place to go down through Dingodale. Looks like Peter Daniel's made that move for third place, but in the background, Sven Mackenberg, he was almost looking at losing a position. He's now gained one as he gets up the inside there for P4. Orbital losing 2 corners, 2 places, 2 corners, and even make that 3 because Wittwer, Gerhard, they all go through here.
Yeah, Luciano Wittwer then up into 5th position. This is why he's the championship leader, because even though he doesn't need to do anything too major, too risky, too dangerous in this race, still is working his way up the order, but now has the door opened by the remaining of Mihai Neg to the inside. Gerhard with the overspeed might go for a bit of a bump draft on the rear end of the Dutchman down towards the first corner. It will be Luciano Wittwer covering off Mihai Neg. The up and under coming from Jonas Gerhard, who might get the inside contact between the pair of them as they head their way up Druids, and it is the inside line from Gerhard. Says, absolutely get out of my way, Chief. As Gerhard goes into 6th position, moving Mihai Neg out of the way. Mate Mikiewicz in 8th position now, staring at the back of this, and maybe staring at 2nd position, slipping through his fingers. 2 of his main rivals in all of this, Victor Strettmann and Peter Daniel, 3rd position in this race at the moment, and with the fastest lap. As Daniel takes his victory, I think it might well be 2nd in the championship for him.
Yeah, he might be the, I'll try and do the maths as the race goes on, but that might be looking pretty good because, Neg and Mikiewicz as well, they're really struggling to get through a couple of these drivers, as you would expect. Look at the train of cars, though, coming out towards Westfield Bend. They're all waiting to try and make these overtakes, but people like Gerhard are doing a good job as all. I say that, he runs out wide. One goes up the inside of Wittwer. Can Gerhard also make the move, or Neg, I should say, make the move on Gerhard? If he does, up into 6th.
Yeah, do remember that in the previous race, Mate Mikiewicz was 2nd place. Meanwhile, Peter Daniel was 5th and 3rd at the moment. Sounds a lot better than 2nd and 9th, and it might well get slightly worse for him because Evtushenko sat on the rear end. Jonas Gerhard, who we're looking at now, a fair way behind Filipao, so just staring at Mikiewicz in his rear view mirror. Contact between this group. Yes, it's so easy to have happen. Do remember, though, we do have the pit stop to open up as Rokas to B's problems continue this evening. Unfortunately, just not been his time at Brands Hatch. But I get a feeling for a lot of these drivers, this pit stop's going to be absolutely crucial.
Oh, definitely. And looking, I mean, we didn't 100% see, but looking at how the earlier pit stop in a battle worked last time around, I wonder if we're going to see that this time for Filipao. I mean, he made it work on Mikiewicz, but he gained 3 seconds over the course of that lap. That can't just be, going in the pit lane slightly faster or something. That's got to be a bit of tyre in there as well. So I think that is going to be very important. But look at Gilbert. He's pushing. He's running wide, trying everything. But they also know, Peter Daniel in the background, this win, also for Streetman, this might be very crucial for them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Streitman just wants to pick up any position in the championship. Maybe it's not going to be 2nd spot. As I said before, time and time again, it's very much outside of that 2nd spot in the championship. But realistically, the end of the season with a win, I don't really care where I finish in the championship as long as I finish with a victory. That'd be pretty sweet. The Belgian's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders. I don't know if they're fully aware as to the moves that we've seen from Edo Gilbert in the previous race, but maybe someone will want to be like, just let Victor Strettmann, this driver knows how to overtake round here. Obviously, Sven Mackenberg, 4th position. Have noticed Marvin in chat, so keeping an eye on things and seeing what's going to happen with Sven Mackenberg, currently sitting in that 4th position and now has the championship leader directly behind. Ooh.
Oh, absolutely. It's always a bit nerve-wracking when you get one of the fastest drivers up behind you, especially when you know that they're probably going to be going to try and overtake you. But Sven Mackenberg, he knows what he's doing in the RaceRoom ranked scene, and he certainly shouldn't really have the nerves. But let's see what Wittwer is going to do up in 5th place, and he can still see the leader as well. So Wittwer, realistically, I mean, he can still win this race and win the championship on the track as well, which is what you want. But look at them all running wide. as they try and take the risks up there through Hawthorn, but he's actually just lost out a bit of time because of that. Mackenberg just gets away a little bit, so it really is such difficult style racing as Gilbert now. Oh, he's got the driver of Peter Daniel all over the back of him. As Daniel runs wide, he's going to lose a place. Mackenberg round the outside from Snowden. Oh no! Around Peter Daniel goes, and that's going to be championship hopes gone.
Yeah, his chances of getting second in the title race absolutely gone. They are out of here, and he has dropped down the order. So now things swing towards the likes of Mihai Neg, 5th position at the moment. And yeah, that's quite a shot. Gerhardt now dropping right the way down the order. Could swing in favour of Matej Mikiewicz as well. Luciano Vitt that we're looking backwards from as Enzo Filipao gets his way past Mihai Neg, the Romanian, at the moment now. Having to look around the outside of the race winner in race 1 this evening as we ride on board with the driver who was looking to, looking to grab the crown, to join the likes of Philip Dreiss, the MX5 Cup champion, to join Alessandro Ottaviani, our RaceRoom Carrera Cup champion, the RaceRoom Rank Championship, the Praga Cup. I mean, it would be fitting. It is probably going to go the way of Luciano Vitt, but I just love the fact how he's getting his elbows out. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he does not. He just wants to get some, battles under his belt, get some race victories potentially under his belt, and that's what we love to see. To be honest, that's just pure racing. There's no nothing other than just trying to be the fastest driver that you can on that day. And I love these battles that we're seeing around here at Brands Hatch. It is an interesting choice for a championship finale, but it's certainly an exciting one. As we're seeing this battle of Mikiewicz trying to work his way through Mihai Neg, but two very fast drivers pushing each other to the limit.
Fair, I mean, it's quite a good track for a season finale. I don't mind it because it's crazy, it's ridiculous. It also always provides a good championship finale and British touring class. There is that. Peter Daniel, by the way, did come into pit lane, but because it was before the pit window was open, that did not count as far as I'm aware. There's no green check around the number 1 next to his name, so we'll have to return to pit lane anyway. Prinder is the first to actually come in for what will be his mandatory stop. Gerhardt also into the pit lane. Wonder if anyone else will bite. To be fair, I'd kind of want to bite pretty early.
I think so as well. I think you need to be getting in there, and you need to be getting those fresher tyres on. It worked last time. Will it work this time around? Gilbert almost pushing Strademans as you say, pit window's open. We're coming up to 9 minutes completed in this race, and Gilbert, he's going left, he's going right, he's trying to find a way through, but Strademans having his car in the perfect position, almost touching though as we go through the apex. Gilbert taking so much more speed trying to get this overtake.
That was very scary indeed. Once again, very scary going through Westfield Bend, and Sven Mackenberg sat behind and can definitely see the opportunity of a potential race victory, especially if any more of that happens going through the midpoint of this lap. We're only 20 minutes away from the final moments of this season. Out wide a little bit there from the apex Gilbert was going, but you know that Edo Gilbert is not scared of pulling off a blinder of a move around here. And to be fair, for the Frenchman, I'd almost think Pitt, speaking of Frenchman, by the way, Enzo Filipao worked his way up now into 4th position, getting past Luciano Vitt.
He's doing a good job, isn't he? I was a bit worried for him at the end of the first couple of laps, but of course, he's with some people like Daniel dropping out of the way and just some overtakes, it's actually starting to look a little bit better for them as we're starting to sort of bunch up this top 5 once more. Strademans, he's continuing out towards the front, but the pressure is coming in behind.
I've got to say, this from Enzo Filipao is a little bit like every time that I've commentated on people like Jurne Silicic and Kevin Siggy, is that every time I want to sit there and be like, oh no, they've dropped back, there's something, it's not going right for them, they're definitely not going to win this race. And then suddenly, before even halfway through the race, you're like, oh no, they're right in position. And to be fair, Enzo Filipao from this spot, I think he's going to win this race. I think he is going to take the clean sweep at Brands Hatch.
You reckon? Well, to be fair, he's less than a second behind, despite being in 4th place. You're right. Imagine if he pits now as well.
Yeah.
If he gains the 3 seconds that he did last time, he'll undercut all of them.
Exactly. I think if I'm Enzo Filipao, I pit. But also at the same time, sometimes doing the overtake on circuits a little more satisfying when it comes to taking over that one. But Enzo Filipao, I reckon if he pits now, he definitely wins. Definitely wins. So we'll have to wait and see if he's going to dive into the pit lane. He is going to dive into the pit lane, but he's not the only one, as Sven Mackenberg also joins him.
Yeah, good decision there from McAwee.
Great.
Maybe they're listening to the stream. Maybe we just bluffed that one. We'll never know. But let's see how it works out on pit exit as all look at Strederman's defending to the inside there. Gilbert, he's looking racy, but this is helping them. The more these guys battle on this lap, the undercut is going to be even greater for those in the pit stop as Evchenko and Orbitel also come in this time around. So the Belgian is really going to struggle to hold on to this one. Look at Gilbert almost pushing him as he gets towards the braking zone of Surtees, and Strederman's is going to be tight there. Can he get the run?
Look, we've both done our fair share of strategic calls on the pit wall, on the virtual pit wall. That one looked like a good one to me, as we'll see if there's going to be a good one in all of this. Gilbert to the outside, big commitment on the brakes, but was dipping two wheels as they come into Hawthorns, goes for the up and under, coming down into Westfield Bend. Champion behind. Lucianovic is looking for his opportunity. Matej Mikiewicz back in the fight for second in the championship, finished second in the previous race. Another podium here, and it is second in the championship, confirmed for the Hungarian. And right now, that is definitely on the cards. Victor Strederman struggling for speed. Any biters to come down into pit lane this time by? They're so close. But if you're one of the lead cars in this group, it's really hard to commit coming down to pit lane. That's exactly what Victor Strederman was trying to do. And it has delayed Edo Gilbert going out to the start-finish because the pit lane here is terrible.
Yes, it certainly is. Side by side in towards turn one. We go, Gilbert, Wittfer, and around the outside. Wittfer going to be up the inside here, trying to dive on the brakes. Almost a bit of contact between them. There might be, as Wittfer tries to keep into the race lead at this moment. Oh, look how close they get in towards the braking zone. And this is high commitment stuff, as Mikiewicz is now in behind them as well for third.
Very lucky to have not crashed there. Again, fantastic stuff from all the drivers. I know Strederman, I was kind of looking like with a slightly tight line. I thought Strederman did want to come down into pit lane, but obviously it's so hard to read when you're directly behind it. It has cost Gilbert a position. I could go on for hours about terrible pit lanes in the world of motorsport. Nothing to do with sim racing, nothing to do with this build. That's just how it is actually on the race circuit. It's probably the most egregious on planet Earth when it comes to well, it's up there anyway. Red Bull Ring's pretty high up on that list as well of just awful ideas for pit entry. And honestly, I've got a list, Cam. I've got a list. South Korea.
Oh, the entry there.
Awful pit entry.
The exit as well.
Yeah. Pit entry. I still maintain. I think pit exit here is probably one of the worst because you're dumped straight onto the apex as Lucianovic bails to go into pit lane. Yeah. Look at this. Look at the pit exit here. You literally come straight out onto the apex of a blind corner. How hilarious is that?
Yeah, probably shoot it down on the inside of the grass there and have
anything else.
Easily the inside line there in towards Druids. Certainly an interesting one, and what a track it has been as Wittfer comes into the pit lane. That leaves these guys out there. I don't think battling out here is going to work. I really don't. Philip out there, of course, he's got past Mackenberg in the whole process of that. He's gone purple as well, pulling away. I think he's going to have the race lead, so I think you might be right. It might be the clean sweep for the Frenchman.
Yeah, I think he's leading. I think Enzo Filipao is about to come through to take over the race lead. There you can see him on the race circuit, and there you can see him sweeping past Lucianovic behind Mackenberg as well, which is fairly expected in all of that also. And like I say, I see Enzo Filipao sweeping past Gilbert as well. Big shame. But there you go. That's timing for you.
And they all had the same opportunity to pit. Because that also wasn't like the very second that the pit window opened. It was a lap or two after it opened. So everyone had an opportunity to sort of undercut Filipao. They didn't do it. And Filipao once again makes that strategy work in his favour. Let's see what they do this time around. Yeah, a bit of a slower exit there off the final corner. That actually slows down. Mikiewicz, neg there. It's going to be up the inside towards turn one. Might go from third to first, effectively up the inside on Paddock Hill Bend. Is going to be side by side in towards the braking zone. But the Romanian there gets through as Mikiewicz there has to sit in second place, but he doesn't give it up in towards the braking zone of Druids. And no, he finally has to.
Just don't know why these two haven't stopped yet. That's the important bit in all of this. Walk racing. Speaking of walk racing, I did see Bogdan out in the chat of the iRacing Daytona 24-hour. I didn't even realise that he was in sim racing. I always thought that Mihai Neg being a part of walk racing. I was looking at that being like, he's just not changed that in years. No, I think walk racing maybe they are a thing still in the world of sim racing. Who knows? Bogdan is someone that you almost certainly haven't heard of, Cam.
I was going to say, I know a few people called Bogdan, but maybe not the one you're talking about.
The name is too long for me to remember or to say on stream, so I don't. It's been a long time. It's a very. It's a fairly long name. I'm sure it would scare me a lot less if I saw it now, but I remember seeing it back in the day, thinking I don't know how to say that, and so I never learned. But yes, either way, Mihai Neg driving for Walk Racing here. Matej Mikiewicz trying to dish the pressure out. As I think they'll surely be in the pit lane. Surely in the pit lane. Surely not in the pit lane. That's what I meant. Surely not in the pit lane. Why haven't they come in yet? I'm very confused by this.
Yeah, I don't understand what the benefit is, because yes, you're going to have better tyres again, but you're going to be so far behind. I don't think you're going to have enough laps, enough time to use it and to make it work. And it's what we saw work in the first race. And look at Filipao. It's only about a second and a half that he's got on Mackenberg. What a drive this is turning out to be. And a bit of a shame for him that he wasn't there in the first couple of rounds of the of this season of the Ranked Championship, because he probably would be the champion.
I think we're seeing a slight turning point for Enzo Filipao, because obviously we've known he's been fantastic for ages, fair enough. But as Vaj, by the way, did come into pit lane. But the thing is with Filipao, some of the drives that I've seen from him recently, especially both races that we've seen today, just feel that 2024 he's taken a bit of a step here to move himself forward. Again, #1 driver on the ranked side of things here in RaceRoom. And yes, I do understand that it's not the ranked side at that higher level is not quite as contended as other places, because it's still fairly new, really. Yes, it's not quite as high. We don't have all the drivers like that do the DTM shootout and stuff. They're not all like properly ranked, which is fine. That is what it is. But the fact that Enzo is #1, the fact that he is still, he's racing this platform a lot, he understands this platform a lot, and he is clearly showing.
Experience is one of the biggest things, to be honest, and he's just making it work. He obviously knew what to do with this car, and obviously this series is open setup as well, which they're not always, especially the MX-5 is fixed, but when it comes to this, open setup, and that leaves the opportunity for some drivers to show a bit of technical know-how as well, and to just set up the car ever so slightly better, just have a little bit more in the car, a little bit more to their liking, a little bit faster, and that is something that certainly helps them as well. So it's really working out, and as you say, the last few months especially, he's really starting to show that speed that we know that he's got. And look at the little slide there through Druids, but you'd almost not think that was a mistake, and that's more intentional.
So that's something that you know a lot more than me. You've got more technical know-how.
I try.
I can just about adjust wings, gears, and anti-roll bars.
I just try and imagine it like those stadium super trucks, and then it becomes a little bit easier to understand in my head.
Stadium super truck.
Yeah, you know those things they race out in like.
I know exactly like a super.
Okay, so they're really long travel suspensions. So when you brake, the whole thing drops down. When you lift up, the whole it like lifts up the whole front wheel. I imagine that in my head of how one of these cars is doing. Obviously, it's on a much smaller scale than movement, but if you think about that, like when you accelerate, how it lifts the front up like that, and then it puts all the weight. You're turning right, and it basically lifts up the front right and puts all the weight on the rear left. So you have to think as the dampers are trying to go down and things like that. That's how I try and imagine it in my head, the really exaggerated movements.
Oh, I see. That's actually quite smart.
Yeah, so like when you brake and the whole front dips, then that's how you want the third spring and everything to work out. At least that's how it helped me in my head understand.
That's that's fair. That actually makes sense. That actually makes sense, because I can thinking about it, I can actually imagine a stadium super truck moving like that. By the way, I do really like how they drive.
Oh yeah, that is insane. The way that they make, because that makes the car rotate as well. Because it sort of twists sort of twist the chassis effect.
Fascinating.
I love all that sort of stuff. And it's what I kind of study. I probably should use it.
Yeah, no, probably. This is where I studied absolutely nothing, and it shows. Because when someone starts talking to me about functions and things like that, I don't understand what any of this means.
Yeah, math equations not so much, but yeah, we'll see.
I did get a second maths equation last night, and I took one look at it and went, no.
Nope.
As Mihai Neg and Matej Mikiewicz into the pit lane, so the race lead will filter back through into the hands of the mighty Frenchman here, Enzo Filipao, who is well in control here, of course, in West Kingsdown, in Brands Hatch. Fantastic circuit, and is showing exactly why it is to go from 10th to 1st. Chase has got some solid pace around here as he flies past the two that remain in pit lane. Of course, those two are battling for second in the championship. Well, they're going to have to do their fighting out on circuit. I don't think Matej Mikovic needs to beat Mihai Neg, because Mihai Neg was 4th in the previous race, whereas Matej Mikovic was 2nd in the previous race. So I think if Mikovic finishes just a single position behind, I think it's still good for him going from 2nd in the championship.
I'd have to do the...
it would still beat him in the round. Well.
Yeah, Mikovic would win on the round as it stands.
And he's 2nd in the championship.
What? Yes, that's true.
Cool, fantastic. Outthought you there, didn't I?
Quick maths. No, I was thinking it was the other way around in the championship, but no, you're right. Obviously, yeah, the Hungarian leads in the way. So yeah, he can just follow him through. Whether he knows that coming into this, yeah, you never know. It's actually in the background there. That was clean, having a spin coming through Druids. Wonder if he was helped, but he's potentially losing another couple places. There's Gashford Mish trying to do a recovery. Bit of door banging there as we come out on towards the Cooper straight in towards Surtees, and Mish goes down. Sorry, gains another place, and Kling goes down another because Vash gets through as well.
Yep, solid effort there as Mish will now try and catch up to Behaga once again. Having to do a bit of a recovery drive, like some Rokas to be as well, having to recover. Guess what position he's recovered to? Yes, 14th. Off on the first lap and still recovering into those spots. I think the big disappointment from all of this is Petter Daniel finding himself down in 20th position after having to pit twice, courtesy of the time he came into the pit lane was too early. Speaking of which, pit lane is closed. Enzo Filipao, yellow flag in the first sector. Oh, and it is! He's spun round! We were singing his praises, and there he is backwards. That will be solo because he was so far ahead of everyone, which now promotes Sven Mackenberg to the race lead. What's happened there?
Oh my God, he had it
Not
on
the
plate.
commentator's curse.
Absolutely, it was commentator's curse.
Wasn't?
No, it absolutely was not. But we were singing his praises, and he crashes just a little bit after that. Now he's behind Neg and Miskovic, and that is going to be very, very interesting when we get to the final few laps, because is Filipao going to separate that potential championship battle for second place as well? But now we look to the front, and Vitva has the opportunity to win this on the track.
Yeah, exactly. Wants to. Yeah, it'd be a great way to sign off the season, wouldn't it? You know, to win the championship and win the final race as well. You've been given the opportunity now, courtesy of Enzo Filipao's spin. But let's be honest, Sven Mackenberg is not exactly a slouch when it comes to things in ranked competition. Yeah, we've seen him time and time again. Sure, he knows how to get this one done. But wow, what drama!
Insane stuff. And as my maths does it, Vitva and Filipao would be tied on 64 points each for the round. So I don't know how that works in terms of the overall points we get given. So we'll have to try we'll have to be trying to work that out. So that's certainly looking good for Vitva, but he could win the overall round to get those 50 points. So it would be if he can get this place.
Yeah, exactly. So they, like I say, if say for example, you know, whether it's second position or third position or whatever, if they both score, if they both get the same position in the points for the round, they both take the points for the round. We've had it a few times where the winner of the round it's been two drivers who've got the amount of points to win the round, and they both take 50 points in the championship standings.
So then there's just no one with second place points because the next people would get third.
Correct.
Copy. Makes sense.
Correct.
Well, that's potentially working out quite well there for Filipao, because he might still get the 50 points, but actually if he gets one of these places, that is not going to matter. Up the inside, oh my word, he's still already been around. We see people go around the outside there, but he's made it work up the inside through Sheen Curve. Huge commitment move to get Mikovic, and now he's up into fourth.
That was pretty brave. That is the sign of someone who is a little bit frustrated. A mega move though from Filipao, and to be fair, I can see him finishing on the podium here, because I think the Arneg's going to put up the most risky of fights to try and keep the Frenchman at bay. But right now, probably want to do so, even though I still think points will pay as favour towards Mikovic when it comes towards that second in the championship. Right now, with them being third and fifth, they were second and fourth in the previous race. It was in advantage to Mikovic, so realistically, I think there needs to be a couple of people between Mihai Neg and Matej Mikovic for that position, just to give more points in the championship. Departing this round, 4 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in this race. Enzo Filipao is going to try and blaze it around this Brands Hatch zone.
Yeah, I think you are right when you say he's going to potentially get this podium. He's been the fastest driver out on track all evening, and he's just got one final place to get onto the podium. He's got the run up the inside of Westfield Bend. Don't think we've seen a move there yet today, so he has to back out of that one. Loses a car length or so as we come down the hill through Dimmadale up towards Sheen curve, where he just made that overtake on Mikovic. And look at the run he's got up the inside of Sterling's. It might be to the left-hand side. He goes side by side. Neg holds it around the outside, potentially a bit of contact, and now here comes Mikovic to try and get that place back.
Yeah, it's going to cost Enzo Philippou. Our position there was not committed enough, was basically had to pay the price there for Mihai Neg's mistake. It was a little bit too fast going through Sheen and in a little bit too deep, and opened up the opportunity, but Philippou wasn't committed enough to make that one stick, not as committed as he was to move his way up into fourth position. Still plenty of time left to go in this race for him to work his way past, but chances of a race victory have gone. It is in the hands of Sven Makkenberg, as unfortunately Vash has been backwards at some point in the circuit. I think that'll be through the final corner, or maybe even down at Sterling's. Sven Makkenberg's got the control, no mistakes. I think he takes his victory. But even the slight whiff of opportunity for Luciano Vitford to go through, even though Vitford's in position for the championship, I think Luciano is well aware that he can afford to lose a few positions here and he'll still win the championship, so you might as well risk it for the win.
Certainly is. I think that was Gerhard just getting past Strademans as well for 6th place. But yeah, this is the perfect example of why these reverse grid races are pretty cool, because Makkenberg, as much as he's a fast driver, possibly wasn't fast enough to win a race on pace today, but it's given him the track position and he's holding on to it very well. He's around the outside, potentially. Philippou, he's thinking a bit, trying to get the run, trying to slow Mikovic down up towards the final corner. Clarkson Airways, but no, not this time around. As we go through that sequence on towards the start-finish straight, just a couple of laps to go, and who's going to get this final place on the podium? Neg is defending towards the inside, up towards Paddock Hill Bend. It's going to be Mikovic round the outside to try and make this work. Can he get the run up towards Druids?
He's got to do it at Druids, I think. Like I say, out a little bit wide. Mihai Neg goes. The opportune moment here from Mikovic down the inside, but I think Mihai Neg might just be able to hang on. Maybe a little bit too much curb there taken by the Hungarian. The Frenchman goes down the inside on the exit and nearly gets it to the outside going through Graham Hill Bend. Now pulls Matej Mikovic off the back of Mihai Neg to open up the opportunity as we prepare to head back out onto the Grand Prix loop for the penultimate time. Once again, still no opportunity to make the move because these cars have enough grip to hold it around the outside.
But is there going to be an opportunity up at the next corner at Hawthorns for the car in behind of Philippou? He's already got this place once. He needs to do it again after losing it, and because he really needs to get the move now if he wants to get Neg on the next lap. So it's going to be now or never, really, to get 2 cars on the next lap, the final lap of the race. It's going to be very, very difficult. Out towards Sterling's, we know he likes this move up the inside, not this time around, as Mikovic sort of takes a half defensive line. But is there going to be one final opportunity? Also up towards the front as Makkenberg tries to hold on.
Last lap, last time for Sven Makkenberg to survive. One more run around Brands Hatch Grand Prix. Plenty of opportunities for Luciano Vitford to go for a move, but he needs a bit of a mistake here from the German out front. Mihai Neg settling over the 3rd position, desperate to try and hang on. We see them go into Druids. Once again, another perfect corner for Sven Makkenberg, just able to hang on. Back to the fight for 3rd position. No switches as they head their way through Druids.
Not just yet. Sven Makkenberg, he's doing a good job. He's making the couple of apexes that he would have wanted. This is an important one. Out onto the longest straight, and that is a nice late apex as well. He's doing the job that he needs to do. Vitva slightly wide as he tries to take the risk onto the back straight, as we'll see Philippou, the 2 drivers there trying to make the overtakes. But look at the gap actually Mikovic has got. He should be able to hold on to this.
Yeah, I think he might be able to, and so for Enzo Philippou, there might not even be a podium up for grabs for him. That spin, very costly indeed. Was looking at a well-secured victory before that spin at Druids, but final few corners await our race winner, and well, we'll have to wait and see if Sven Makkenberg's able to hang on. But at the moment, things are looking good for the championship. Any final send for Luciano Vitford as we work our way down towards the last corner? There is a look to the inside. They work their way through. Sven Makkenberg will come out through the final corner and take victory in the final race of the season. But Luciano Vitford is our Praga Cup champion. with 2 podiums on the final night. A fantastic performance throughout the season, and it is victory for him. Mihai Neg and Matej Mikiewicz will come across the line in 3rd and 4th, but advantage going its way to Mikiewicz for 2nd in the championship. Disappointment for Enzo Filipao to take 5th position in this race, despite looking at the double victory. So we'll take a look once again at the results, and you can see that fastest lap being dished out to Enzo Filipao, and the gap that he finished behind the race lead, how much time he lost from it. Gerhardt in 6th position, Strederman's up to 7th place with Gilbert. I think he'll be disappointed, to be perfectly honest, with how that race unfolded. Obratel and Evtushenko inside the top 10. But still, solid performances from that lot. Outside of the top 10, we've still got to wait for them to filter their way across the line. But it is Prinder in 11th place, Rokas to be up to 12th position after that spin, let's call it a crash actually, on lap 1, with Gaspar Misch in 3rd position, Verhagen in 14th, Klein, Vaj, Gra, Daniel, Orlinas and Dufek rounding out the order as a disqualification in the last race of the season. Cam, what a performance from Luciano Vitford all the way through this season. And to be fair, as much as he didn't win that race, what a performance from Enzo Filipao. As much as he did win that race, what a performance from Sven Mackenberg. So many performances.
Yeah, what a season there, especially for Vitford. I mean, he was 1st or 2nd in each of the rounds over the course of the 4-race season. So very, very consistent, very, very fast as well. And even with the challenge of Filippo today, he was able to still get the joint round victory. So that was a great job from him. Unfortunately, obviously season 1, he lost out on a couple of championships there that he might would have wanted, but finishing off the 2023 season very, very strong, and looking forward to see what he can do this year in 24.
Yeah, indeed. That is the RaceRoom Rank Championship all said and done. So once again, big congratulations to Luciano Vitford, our Praga Cup champion. Big congratulations to Alessandro Ottaviani, who was the Carrera Cup champion. And of course, to Philip Dreiss, who was the MX5 champion at Daytona, obviously a few weeks back. That is us done for the RaceRoom Rank Championship Season 2 of 2023. But I'm pretty sure we're dealing with Season 1 of 2024 fairly soon. But if you can't wait that long and you're desperate to either be on the grid or listen to our commentary, right, Cam? There is the Daytona 2.4 hour on the 3rd of February. That's only a week and a bit's time. We're looking forward to it, aren't we? That's going to be so much fun.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the best tracks and one of the best events that we do over the course of the season. Of course, we have a bit of a support race to that as well. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities. So make sure you get yourselves on the leaderboards for that. And that is going to be, a whole load of fun because the strategy in those 2.4 hours is often very, very interesting.
Yeah, indeed. You're absolutely right. It's the TCRs that are being the support race for the main one, which will be 2.4 hours of racing with the Mazda DPI along with the GT3 cars as well. Should be a lot of fun. Again, that is the 3rd of February, so not very long. Maybe jump on, get yourself involved in that race. Go onto Steam, download RaceRoom and get yourself involved in the action. Cam, I'm going to ask you very quickly then, final thoughts of the RaceRoom Rank Championship before we wrap up, because it's been a fun one this time. Again, across all 3 of the categories, we've seen a lot of great racing and a lot of worthy race winners.
Absolutely. I think it was a real success this season as well, with slightly different format with how we did it, having the race every single week, kept that momentum going with it. And even with the little Christmas break, we ended up with 3 amazing races for the champions, and they're very well deserved as well. So I can't wait to see how they're going to do this year. It's going to be a lot of fun as ever with all the ranked leaderboards.
Well, thank you so much for joining us through this. And of course, thank you to all of our drivers that have joined us through the championships that we've all had. And of course, big thank you to Chris, who we couldn't do this without. So Captain Coffee, thank you so much. Of course, to the boys who've jumped onto the commentary throughout the season. It's obviously been myself, Lewis McGlade. It's been Cameron Roger. Don't forget Darragh Thacker, Ewan O'Leary and Zach Sweeney, my sons of the commentary world, jumping on for various broadcasts throughout the season. From all of us here at RaceRoom, we'll see you on the 3rd of February. But until then, we're very warm. Goodbye.
Do you also feel the same as this car enthusiast? He's reached his vehicle dream, but suddenly the original black wheels seem a bit boring. A colourful detail would add a lot more pep. And a little eye-catcher to match the paint would make the car perfect. Customization options don't only transform the wheel to visually match the vehicle, but also provides one-of-a-kind look on the road. The wheel color, rim protectors, center caps, valve caps, and even the wheel bolts can be configured and designed individually using style components of the new BBS Unlimited wheel system. And here's how it works. The BBS Unlimited base wheels are available in a total of 8 different colors, whether it be a glossy, satin, or polished finish, or from a deep indigo blue to racing gold to a rich bronze. Rim protectors are a colorful detail to visually enhance the wheel while preventing damage from curb contact. In addition, the rim protectors can easily and quickly be replaced and renewed at any time. In total, 6 different designs are available. The center cap completes the wheel. So how cool would it be if it could also be customized? BBS Unlimited Style makes this possible. It's available in 56mm and 70.6mm diameters and can be applied in a variety of ways with the BBS logo. The center cap is available in 2D or 3D embossing, as well as in several color variations. And with the 3D rotation cover, the BBS logo remains visible to everyone, even when the car is in high gear. The valve caps complement the wheel in 6 different colors. This gives the individual wheel an even more coherent look. You can even choose the wheel bolt in the last step to match the wheel. Available in black, silver, and even titanium. With the help of the BBS Unlimited style components, you're able to create a work of art out of a conventional wheel, according to your own wishes and ideas. Just take a look at our configurator, and after a few clicks you can already start designing the perfect wheel for your vehicle. Do you have any questions about customization? Then contact the wheel expert now.